the Team Liquid draft.
Yeah.
They're also played worse than you'd expect, but I think that is some very valid criticisms.
I think so. Some uncharacteristic mistakes on the Rift, maybe before pick and ban phase. You can look at some things. We know no Ziggs this time around, as LYON will ban it here, finding themselves on the red side. Will they ban the Rumble? The question on everybody's mind. It's on my mind, for sure.
It is. Well,
gotta be looking at that.
I think Srtty likes playing Rumble as well, even though he's lost on it all of 2025. He's looked good in some of the games. And literally nobody knows except for us, because we learned like yesterday that Rumble is much worse on red side.
You don't think anybody's told the players yet?
But if anyone wants to check out Freak's YouTube channel, he's got a really interesting video on that. That's only going to be in the game for like another week or two because he fixed it. But red side Rumble, way worse than you'd expect, and blue side Rumble, way better than you'd expect. Super interesting stuff, but he's banned in this game, and we have Gwen for his pick.
Okay, so Gwen, again, I'm happy to see the Rumble ban. I would not have left that up for Impact. He loves playing that. I think it is for sure blue oneable. But Gwen as the blue one alternative is a little more of a head scratcher for me because of Srtty's champ pool and what he likes to play. You talked about Renekton being like, there's not a lot of things that truly 100% counter the Renekton. When I look at Srtty's champ pool, I want to see him play something like the Camille. I mean, Ambessa, I guess, works as well. So that seems to be the matchup here.
Yeah, he's only played one Ambessa game. He lost, but with the 12 KDA, that means he was actually doing a lot of work in that game despite losing. So I think that's a fine matchup for Srtty in this one. That's definitely some type of champion pool read by Team Liquid, unless it's a Gwen jungle and they're planning on flexing it. Otherwise,
that would be interesting.
But it's just strange to see it first picked. Matchup's fine, though. It's just going to be a skill matchup, and they go Wukong to match up against the Trundle.
And it's going to be Wukong along with the Annie, something APA also pulled out last weekend. It was Talia into Annie, so this is 2 games in a row, or 2 series in a row, rather, where APA is going Talia into Annie. And the answer is Galio, very quickly by Saint right there. So
yeah,
an incredibly beefy first 3 champions for LYON.
Yeah, and I liked the combination, to be completely honest with you. There's a lot of magic damage. It is pretty burst heavy with the Wukong and the Annie being the mid-jungle combo. So if Saint has a good start to this game, he's going to be incredibly difficult to match in either side lanes with the extra magic resist he can gain from the Galio.
Let alone, like you're trying to collapse on them with AP solo laners. That extra magic shield is going to make it so much harder to actually get that. The Wukong's going to have to do a little more damage in that regard. So and this time around, by the way, LYON do have their round 2 bans. It was only for game 1 that they did not have their second phase ban. So it's going to be Nico and Rakan taken off the table as we are saving the bot lane picks for both squads for last.
Yep. For all the Yeon compliments we gave him, he had a bad game on the Jhin. He got caught out a few times, then just really got outscaled by the enemy team composition when he's behind on Collector Jhin, and they have 3 tanky frontliners. But now it's all about these bot lanes, and you do like being the red side team here. I think there's some benefits to being able to lock in your duo at once, but just being able to get essentially the 80 carry you're choosing and then a support counter pick is, I think, better.
And especially when already things like the Rell, Alistar are gone. We talked about the, what was it, TTE, Time to Enchanter stat. Thinking probably by game 3, we would start seeing those. Game 2's more of a question mark. There are enough of those engage or tankier supports that you still could just grab those. But there's always the option, especially on red side, to go for a ranged counter, something like a Renata even, to really punish those engaged supports. It's going to be quirky, though, so you're right on the nose, Jad. It's 80 carry locked in, support counter pick save.
Yeah, I'm also still kind of the opinion that patch notes barely matter nowadays. I feel like they do such small, conservative swings.
I do believe we ripped them up and threw them around the studio.
I'm just saying, like, the amount of inertia that players have with their champion mastery, I feel like far outweighs the power reduction of the nerfs that end up getting happening in patches. So, like, if you were already a good X and they nerf it by 1% win rate, that's going to be better than trying to be a good Y.
Yeah.
Unless you have the 1% higher win rate. So, that's why I don't think it's going to matter that much.
But CoreJJ does have that champ pool. He has played Karma, Melio, Renata, Glasc already here. And now it is Yunara locked in as well. We have the new hotness, the new AD carry locked in for Team Liquid.
I believe still yet to win, even though it's been picked a number of times over in LPL and in LEC. It has lost those games. So interesting to see how Yeon pulls it out. If there was going to be a player that pulls it out, we did think it was going to be Yeon because it shares a decent amount of similarities to the way Zeri feels. Plus, Yeon is someone who is an absolute grinder. Anytime a new champion comes out, he's going to make sure he gets his games in. So really looking forward to see what Yeon can do on the new champion.
One thing I will say about it, and this is more of a vibe check from my own experience playing against it, is the earlier levels can struggle a bit. Corki Nautilus, theoretically, I could see a world where they can actually just bully around the Yunara early on and try and put them behind.
I think that's why I like it with the Renata.
Sure.
Just because the Renata is going to be a little bit stronger in lane than a traditional tank melee engage. So since even if Yunara is a little weaker than Corki early, which I'm not 100% sure on, depends on what items Yeon builds and how he ends up playing the character since he's so new, I know that Renata is stronger early than the Nautilus.
All right, well, we'll see if that's enough for Team Liquid's bot lane to stay in this, or if LYON have the correct read to pick Engage into the Renata. Typically something that does not go as well for the Engage champions. LYON, though, are up 1-0 in this series. One more win, and they pick up a series win. But either way, no matter how the rest of this series goes, the pick and play section at the end of the day on Sunday will become much more interesting just from the fact that LYON picked up one game.
Yes, it is guaranteed that the quote, bottom 4 teams will not be locked into picking only the top 4 teams because they will not have exactly the same record as the teams that they are picking. But LYON's got their sights set higher. They would love to 2-0 and then just leapfrog Team Liquid for a spot in the top 4 after 3 weeks. So LYON, plenty to play for and plenty of momentum after that Game 1 win.
One step at a time. LYON would love to go to Worlds. First, they got to make it into
the updated
playoffs.
Secret graphic we saw.
Oh, wait, the LYON got the horse! It happened!
The horse is in
blue versus TL today.
Yeah,
that's
true.
a great stat. Right
it is.
There.
That's kind of how that game happened as well.
Yeah, exactly how that game happened. But like I was saying, if you want to go to Worlds, you got to make playoffs. You want to make playoffs, you have to make it through the knockout stage. If you want a good seed into the knockout stage, you got to do well in the pick and play stage. So that is their first step, is even before doing well, just close out this series here.
And a 3-man invade early, at least for a little bit of vision. So they will have early scouting on Oddie Land's jungle pathing, but nothing more to be done.
As APA will get some autos. Oh, yeah.
Wants to save his.
Remember when Annie had like the longest auto attack range in the game? I miss those days.
625.
Yeah, playing support Annie, it was always fun.
That was so long ago.
Really? I feel like it wasn't that long
There's
ago.
so many things in League of Legends that you're like, oh yeah, I remember this, and it's like 9 years ago.
Well,
12 years ago.
You're making me feel old now, Jed. LYON's taking a big chunk down here on the bottom side. CoreJJ commits the heal just to make sure that they win the trade.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be coming back fairly soon. 4-minute cooldown on that heal, but they're just trying to get early lane prio because I feel like if Yunara can consistently just hit to get the Q active and isn't denied from auto attacks, and you can constantly have that threat that if you engage on me, I'm going to activate my Q.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how you can get some lane pressure with this pick early.
And it just makes it so that it's scarier for LYONz to ever go in for the second time because he's going to be taking theoretically a little bit of poke from Yunara's W Arc of Judgment during the laning phase as well. Top lane, meanwhile, we see a 1v1 brewing up here. Srtty and Impact getting very low. Mid as well. Everyone's scrapping right now, chat. Yeah. Sometimes going into games like this, you'll see a team like Team Liquid that's on the back foot play a little safer, but no, it seems like they showed up, they put their boxing gloves on.
Yeah, I mean, Team Liquid with this Renata Yunara, sounds interesting, tongue twister to say, has been planned to want to push a lot early. They invaded to get early vision on the Trundle, and then with that last push, you can see a ward on the Gromp of Oddie that Yeon actually placed because they want to know exactly where he is so they can play aggressively.
Yeah, because if ever they're pushed up and Oddie shows up, suddenly, you know, using that heal earlier, getting that health bar advantage doesn't really do too much.
Yeah, and I'd say the mobility of Yunara is a little bit more conditional. The E is just move speed without the empowerment from the ultimate. Once you have the ultimate, then you can hop over walls. But he's looping around here.
So he walked all the way around through the river, so they expected maybe he was going to go up top side. Pillar goes out. There are summoner spells available. Nice handshake onto Lyonz. Looks like Yeon's going to try and fight this one out, but the damage from Hena. The bailout. Yeon looking for it. First blood to Hena. No answer for Team Liquid's bot lane.
That was so incredibly close there by Yeon, who flashed to try and get that execute. Then, even with the last auto in the air,
Srtty in the 1v1 almost has it, and then Yuuji going to make it an unfair fight. Flash from Srtty. Yuuji flash follow. Bonk him on the head. Kill traded in the top lane for Team Liquid.
Oh, man, that one kills for Srtty. He thought he had the outplay with his electrocute Ambessa. A lot to break down here. Yeon almost turned the 2v3, which would have been massive. Didn't. Heal comes through at the last second there for Lyonz. once he gets the kill. I'd say Srtty, the lounge was talking about solo queue Srtty versus dig Srtty. This is a mix of the two because it's the type of play you'd make in solo queue knowing that he has no jungle help and that Wukong's got to be somewhere. But let's watch this one more time. They just decide to fight. Yeah. They have the Guardian, they have the heal, they have the pass-through shield from the E. That was like 5 health. Yeah, then he gets to level up and ends up living. I swear that's going to be tilting to Yeon. But here for Srtty, like, the Wukong is going to be there. Yeah. But I feel like Srtty wants to prove himself so badly here that he's going to take the fight. He's level 4, Impact is level 3. Impact only contests that if he has a jungler there, but Srtty falls for it, and Yuuji's able to pick up the kill.
Especially when your jungler just showed bot side, Team Liquid know, okay, there's nobody to punish us up here. But at the same time and on the same side of that coin, this is what you want out of a player like Srtty. We talked about this a little bit here after actually bot side gets engaged on again here. Don't think any kill's going to come through from that, but I would rather see Srtty play the line, play aggressive, play to his strengths, than try and play the tanks, than try and play only for the team fight. So yes, it's a rough mistake, but at the end of the day, this is what was able to get him to climb that ladder. Bot side still just abusing this Yunara.
Yeah, no flash or barrier right now, so LYON is able to play a little more aggressive thanks to Oddie wrapping around and making a nice play for his team early. But we're still going to be tracking this Yunara throughout the game because the AoE damage can be pretty absurd. Once you press your ultimate, you get the 15 seconds of uptime on your Q, which will then just be AoE for a large portion of time. But looks like Yeon's going to have to take potentially another base this early on in the laning phase.
Wave's going to come in. Let's see if CoreJJ wants to hold it. Yeah, he does complete the back. Wave will crash. Meanwhile, Dragon's being taken. So we asked the question coming into this, can the Renata kind of cover some of the early, level 1 through 3 weaknesses of the Yunara? So far, so good for LYON's bot lane. As Hena got that first kill, Oddie lane gets first Drake at just 6 minutes into the game. They're going to push another wave in, and Yeon will have to catch as much of this as possible.
Yeah, and I wonder when Team Liquid is going to try and swap around these lanes as well. Not because they have to, but just because they're so experienced in tracking the map when they do the swaps. And you're pointing out the Vamp Scepter from Yeon's Yunara. We've seen a lot of different builds. I mean, Kraken Slayer is very important. Kobe did a whole breakdown last week about all the weird builds. But we also saw Blade of the Ruin King pop up recently as well as a choice. Yeah, that might be what Yeon's going towards.
Seems like it. The first item, Blade of the Ruin King, I like it, or I've seen it at least after the Kraken Slayer, but it seems like Yeon just wants that extra bit of lifesteal early. It's been a very aggressive bot lane, and maybe that means that they won't be looking as much towards that lane swap. Impact is up 2 full waves over Srtty, so swapping Impact out of that also doesn't feel great for Team Liquid. Having this little bit of lifesteal here for Yeon means that he can actually stay around in the lane much longer than he had been before. But we do have a lane swap now from LYON. Typically it's Team Liquid the ones doing this, but Lyonz is heading up topside, dropping some early vision down as Hena will walk up to catch the wave.
Yeah, absolutely. As the swaps have commenced, Yeon is happier in this situation where he's got a support in his back pocket and he's able to freely take shots at Srtty, who is flashless, so also the ability to close onto him has been reduced. I wonder if Srtty's going to overplay his hand, though.
I would hope not.
I mean, it's just, you understand the reason that he wants to try and make these constant outplays, and I feel like Team Liquid is trying to capitalize on that.
Playing to the psychology of the opposing top laner. Saint walks all the way up here to the top side, had a wave to do so. LYON actually pushing Impact all the way back, but not fully committing yet. Now is APA and Yuuji nearby. They are committing under the turret. Ignite goes down. Impact can't heal up. Oddie lane with a kill credit, and LYONz perfect aggro on the turret. Just limps away with a sliver of a health bar.
Really well done. And I'd say I like what LYON has been doing this whole series, where they're playing a lot as a 4-man unit and saying, Srtty, do your best, bro.
Hold the line.
And he's doing pretty well at that job, but mainly because the other 4 members of LYON are playing so well as their own unit.
Exactly. They are. This is what I want a team that has had these, issues with visas, getting an actual top laner into the top side. This is what I want the other 4 to look like. Play to each other, play to the strengths that you've been able to build up throughout the year so far, because they're in a tough spot. Let's just be honest about where LYON find themselves here. They technically made playoffs in that first split, but then really struggled last split with that 7th place finish. And, this is a team that we see sparks in and we have hopes and expectations for based on that. And already, great start considering the situation that they're in with the roster.
Absolutely, and Saint could also become a bit of a behemoth in this game. Early magic resist on the Galio against a Gwen Annie and a Yunara who's going to take a little bit of time to turn on. He is going to be a very difficult person to take down. Add that to just the Ambessa Trundle Nautilus is going to be diving in. Like, it's going to be tricky if Team Liquid falls a little bit behind in this game. LYON has a lot of engage and a lot of bruisers that Team Liquid's going to have a hard time taking down.
And you had mentioned that last game that you were a bigger fan of LYON's composition. And again, here it does seem like they have a composition that has different strengths for sure, but ones they can play through. As Saint looking at APA here, Yuuji's nearby, and Saint will have to walk back. Does get out just fine.
Yeah, I really like the Galio into the Wukong Annie. One, because when Galio dives in, you can get the defense, but there's actually a dive bottom happening.
Yeah, it does look like we're going in, and they just got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Feats of Warfare claimed. Srtty picks up the kill onto Impact, who did burn the flash. Public execution was used. It seems like LYON just pulled the trigger, committed to the play. Now they're TPing Saint back up to the top side here, even though Yuuji was around. Let's get a look at the replay here and see what happened in the bot side.
Yeah, I mean, Oddie's just in the right place, right time. They don't even need to land all their abilities, but he clicks on him, presses R, and hits him a few times.
Bonk, bonk. That's enough. That's all it takes. Okay, we have to figure out why APA keeps spamming this smolder in the cage emote, by the way. What's going on with that? Is he locked in here with Saint, or is Saint locked in here with him?
Usually he's muted, so I feel like he's doing that for himself.
That's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
I hear that is the meta.
His own immune.
They can't mute this.
I mean,
Spam
okay,
it out.
LYON ahead in this game. Drake coming up, Galio ult up, but Ambessa and Trundle are down these ultimates. So Team Liquid might be able to get some type of play.
Yeah, Impact still has the needlework ultimate ability. So far, Srtty does not have public execution, but LYON are going to try and catch out CoreJJ here. The pillar didn't quite lock him off as teleport comes in from APA. They're going to see it.
He's behind them.
He
could at least give him the Drake, but I mean, Saint doesn't have to go that far to be in ult range if Srtty wants to try and make a move in here, or if Nautilus wants to move in. So I don't think this Drake's going to be free.
It's only Yuuji on the Drake. Srtty's public execution, it looks like about 10 seconds, maybe 15 on the cooldown. AP spotted on the flank right here. Blastcone does not get over the wall, has to flash. Still has the tippers available, but now no flash engage tool for the Annie. Srtty's got to play careful, though. He is currently in a 1v2 as the team walks up here. Team Liquid not confident to force the Dragon anymore. There's the Galio ultimate coming down. Engage from LYONz. Team Liquid holding for now as they got Srtty as he looked for the engage with public execution. Not enough needlework now coming through from Impact. This is the team fight for Team Liquid. Wow. Double kill to Yeon. The Yunara did not go down with the engage. Team Liquid take the Dragon fight.
That was very well played by Team Liquid. LYON thought they were strong enough to brute force a team fight into Gwen Renata, but they actually just weren't. So LYONz hooks in for a Galio ult as the Ambessa ults in, and that's kind of like exactly how you do it. But the Renata ult just kind of stuffs the engage, delays it enough that all the burst damage can come down to finish off Ambessa as he flies in. LYONz is able to escape with a sliver of health, but it's just Team Liquid being right back in this game and stuffing the hard engage from LYON. I think if LYON plays that a little slower, keeps poking with Corki, waits for them to get engaged on, it could have worked a lot better, but they shoot their shot a little bit early, and Team Liquid get the kills onto Yunara.
Whew. Between the Renata ultimate, the Annie ultimate, the Wukong ultimate, a lot of AOA CC that you're trying to engage into there. LYON now down a Dragon, still up a tiny bit of gold, but it's basically dead even right now. So Team Liquid find themselves right back in this game, and maybe back in this series. This is the signs of life that we're hoping from them. As we were talking about expectations here, is that Team Liquid, they're hoping to make that run for Worlds. They got FlyQuest, they got C9 ahead of them. That is tough competition to beat. It starts with matches like this, though. You're expected to be able to take down teams like LYON if you're trying to go through and make that deeper run.
Yeah, I mean, prior to this last split, APA had gone to an international event in every single split he had played. But the fourth place curse came back to bite them a little bit, and they just haven't been a fourth place team. Like this entire time, these last 2 years, they've been a top team. So they're more likely to return to that than to stay what they were last split, you would think.
Oddie is looking for another play. I mean, this is flashbacks to what had just happened off screen earlier. We had the replay of it, and now Impact again in trouble. Flash from Oddie land, bonk, bonk, bite, bite. He's out of there as, LYONz actually caught out by Yuuji. That's a solo kill. There was no assist on that kill credit, so that was just Yuuji taking him on his own.
Junglers fight back, I guess. They're just
yeah.
mauling whoever they want to on this map. Impact is having an abysmal start to this game on Gwen, as Oddie, with the Trinity Force, to just a mask and some components for Impact before he was able to finish that Riftmaker, get destroyed. And this is what we were just talking about. I mean, Team Liquid, 2 firsts and a second before this last split where they miss MSI, and really wanted to bounce back to being a top 2 and having the expectation and experience of being a top team to compete at international events. It's just a matter of returning to that form for the other 4 players, and then Yuuji also coming up to the level. I wouldn't buy into the fact that, like, oh yeah, all these other players, they're world's caliber except for Yuuji. It's like everyone fell off for Team Liquid last split, and they need to be able to bounce back.
But for a player like Yuuji, it's about rising to the occasion. You come in, replace Umpty, and just kind of like splitting time with him at first. Now you are the jungler, as the team is making a play right now. Again,
nice play
onto Lyonz, a pick onto the Nautilus, punishing his positioning right there as Herald is on the table. Nice that Yuuji picks up the kill. 3-0 and 2. There's a phrase, you cannot dream yourself better. It takes a hammer and a forge. So far, Yuuji has been, I like the shape he's taken as he's come into the split 3. Let's just put it that way.
I just want more quotes throughout the rest of these casts. I hope you have more in the notebook there.
I got a couple.
Good.
I like to have a quote for a player, you know, just kind of summarize their narrative.
I mean, no ultimate here. Srtty level 11 gets a good amount of chunk damage down onto him.
APA has the Tibbers, but no stun anymore, as the Tibbers is now used. Saint comes in, but they don't want to fully commit to the fight. It looks like Lion back off.
Yeah, interesting little dance that they're having there in the top lane. Team Liquid ends up getting the map pressure off of this. Everyone online is pushed back in their own jungle. Meanwhile, Impact gets to shove in. Yeon gets to shove the mid lane. He's at a pretty strong point on this Yunara. Going to be interested to watch how these team fights happen, because if we think about this kit, like, the Q is something that you want to have uptime on where you're auto-attacking a lot so that you can activate it, but I'd really say, like, empowering the W to be much faster and the E to be a dash is where the power comes in from the kit, and that's in the 15 seconds of this ultimate. So I really feel like it's one of those things where you would hope that you can get him to use the ultimate and then disengage. But
just like Zeri, right?
But with the team composition that Lion has, it's pretty all in. Like, once Nautilus and Ambessa fly in, Yeon's going to press his ultimate, and it's go time. So in that case, it's a good angle for the Yunara to have a lot of success.
Galio, notable for having a great ult on getting into the fight, not necessarily for getting out afterwards. Maybe they use something like a pillar from Trundle to say, okay, bait out the ult.
That's ideal,
drop
right?
the pillar, run away. Those are the types of tools that they have. But in general, this is a go forward, not a kite back style of comp. When you have the Ambessa ulting in, the Galio on top, Nautilus as well. But maybe they can pull it off here at the Dragon.
Yeah, here we're at this Dragon again, where Team Liquid was down, but they won that fight pretty easily. Lion tried to hard engage. It was stuffed by Team Liquid. So let's see if Lion is either less grouped up or a little slower on this.
APA commits the flash Tibbers stun onto Hena, but did not have backup. So no ult, no flash for APA.
Yeah, that's a good start for Lion, as long as they're patient with these waves, but they're actually not confident enough to step up and push Yunara off of this mid wave, so their approach into the walls are not that strong here.
Redjon was close. Now pillar onto APA as they engage with public execution. The bouncy house goes through. Yuuji re-engages. It's all about Yeon. The ultimate's been popped. Yunara unleashed with Impact in front. Yeon on a killing spree. Team Liquid find the ideal Yunara fight.
It's pretty crazy, because if you, like, freeze frame it on when these engages start, you think, wow, Lions got him.
Yep.
And then 5 seconds later, they're all dead.
APA was the pinata, but the gold was picked up by Team Liquid. They got all the candy after that one.
Yeah, it's looking like a team comp advantage here in those types of grouped up fights, and we've seen 2 of them now between Lion and Team Liquid. Ooh, they're going for something.
He's got flash, he should be fine. Yeah, it's after fights like that that I love to see the damage dealt in the team fight stats, because I'm imagining Impact also got a huge needlework through everybody there, but Yeon ulting through, getting all those big empowered autos with the cultivation of spirit. I imagine that it's going to be between those two as to who was able to get more damage.
Everyone on Team Liquid does AoE damage. It'll start, I'd say, with CoreJJ getting a good ultimate off. So he sends it through the team, lands a 3-man Renata ultimate, and then the AoE can just all fly in after that. Yeon ends up being untouched. Impact, who had such a rough start to the game, can still get the kills on. And APA doesn't mind that
all
he died
according
for
to
that
plan, Jet. That's what it is for APA, as the coaching staff realizes as well. Yep, the Annie without ult, without flash was not the carry we needed for that fight. It's basically an engage if you think about it.
True. I mean, you don't need to protect the Annie who has no flash ult.
Ooh, stun lands onto Oddie land. Looks like Team Liquid want this turret as a Hex Flash over the wall from Lyonz. Almost finds a hook. The turret will hold for right now, but not for very long. As Yeon now, I believe, has 2 items completed. It looks like I'm seeing Runon's spreading that damage now. So fantastic stuff. And again, we were talking about Yeon in that game number 1. Had a couple of mistakes here and there. But this is the type of performance that it gets us so excited about Yeon as a player.
Yeah, he is in a good spot right now on the brand new champion. And also these fights just end up being right up his alley. I mean, he's getting them all grouped up. He's getting the multi-hit on his Q, and the Blade of the Ruined King is proccing like mad in these fights.
Also, shout out APA. He did get a lot of damage down before he went down, as now it's Lyonz again getting caught out here, but who's catching whom? As the hostile takeover will land onto 2, but Oddie land away from the rest of the team. Impact in a 1v3 finds a solo kill while Yeon flashes forward. No fear in the eyes of Team Liquid's AD carry. He's gonna dive the turret, double kill. Impact takes out Saint on the side as Srtty says, you know what, I want part of that one. Triple kill to Yeon.
He is just gonna keep going in. Yeon takes over in this second game. New champion, gonna be potentially the first Yunara win in the LTA here. I mean, he's just also so fast in his ultimate with the E to be able to jump over walls, so runs everyone down. You can see Lion not necessarily fully up to speed on the limits of the new champion, so props to Yeon for pulling it out in this particular instance. Watching the start of this one, you'd almost think that because the engage was stopped by Galio and Yuuji had to flash out, that it would be an advantage for Lion, but Yeon, just watch him on the bottom side of this fight. Pops his ultimate, able to jump over the wall, and just basically run them down. There's no retaliation here. The shields come through from the Renata. You'd think that Srtty would have a chance, but you'd be wrong. He just gets wiped out by Yeon as well.
Yeah, that Blade of the Ruined King, actually a little bit of life steal, that percentage HP damage. Yeon was able to take out Srtty the tail end as well, who had a good start to this game. Yeah, 2020. That GIF will never not be funny, by the way. Love it. 2025 having a great time so far. Flash forward, engages. Yuuji could be in some trouble here, but Lion just cannot kill him fast enough as Oddie land now. The odd man out. Trying to get to safety. No safety to be had. Yeon is godlike. You just can't keep the kid down.
Yeah, and this is also why some people have compared Yunara to early Zeri. Once things start going well in team fights, you can just continue to run people down with the E move speed and your dashes over walls. So he is off to the races in this one.
Off to the races indeed, as mid lane Impact is actually in cutout needlework. Onto Hena. Will trade his life 1-for-1.
Man, how has Impact got 5 kills in this game?
Yeah, wasn't he like 1-3 at one point? He was 0-3 at one point, and it's not over yet. Saint thought a turret would be enough to keep him alive. Team Liquid had other plans in mind, and another kill to Liquid.
Yeon continues to maul them. This is a little aggressive by APA.
Everyone just wants to fight. Everybody wants part of the kills. APA is exhausted. Lyonz one auto might be enough. Srtty for the damage. Lyonz tanking up the turret, and they don't have the damage to kill. Oh no! APA! Look back in range. And Srtty says, thank you for the donation. Now 3, 4, and 2 for Lion top laner. You know what? Mission accomplished. I'll give it to him.
Sure. He flew a little too close to the sun.
He did. That was some disrespect
right
there.
One would say. APA did say, actually, he just doesn't think they're very good right now.
True.
He did lose game 1.
Srtty took that personally.
And died right here. I mean, watching this is just foolishness, I would say. Like, Srtty takes a bunch of turret shots. He's extremely low. APA, he is out.
Yeah.
He's out.
He has stun. I think in his mind a Q is enough because then he walks up in Ws, but yeah.
Little loose. I mean, the Drake is up, though. If this could be a turning point if Lion's able to pull off something good here.
I like being able to laugh it up, but now back to live. No laughing here. Oddie getting engaged on again. Goes down Srtty. Maybe he can take the team fight. No! Just popped like a balloon. Team Liquid get 2 kills and the dragon.
I'm like, ooh, they've engaged onto Yeon, who has 2,000 health and a barrier that gives him 375 health, and Renata, who shields everyone with E for 200 damage and a rocket. And this is what he was thinking.
There we go, yeah. It's going according to plan for them.
Man, APA, definitely the definition of having fun at the moment. 0-2,
Dredge line into depth charge. Yeon knocked up for a moment there, but CoreJJ gets out. Yuuji with the clone actually playing spacing perfectly. As Saint almost goes down. Yeon with his Infinity Edge just does so much freaking damage right now.
Didn't even have to burn his ult right there, so pushing them back easily just by the activation of his Q. So, Yeon, bad game 1, still really good.
Yeah, I think, you know, the rumors of his downfall were greatly exaggerated, Jad, after that 1 game sample size.
After that 1 bad Jhin game.
The unhaters are not eating well right now.
Yeah, and Yunara has been picked multiple times throughout the globe. I would say after watching this game, still going to continue to be picked, mainly because of its snowball potential. So I'd say the laning phase didn't look extremely strong in this game.
Yep.
But I would also say the AoE damage in where Team Liquid was able to get these very grouped out fights was huge. And then once the fight starts turning your way, he's just flying through.
And remember that LYON were the ones that lane swapped out of it. So yes, they got that early lead in the 2v2 because Oddie lane committed that gank down there. But then they sent the gold that Hena got to the top lane to a lane versus Impact. So even they didn't want to stick around for that 2v2 long term.
Wow.
As looks like Impact, how far away is he from a big number? 1768. He's not going to hit any like big 1800 right now, but 5th most in NA. That is impressive.
That's amazing. I mean, especially considering as a top laner who don't get nearly as many kills as AD carries or mids traditionally, as Team Liquid go for the Baron here, and there's just no way to contest this for LYON.
Yeah, no approach that is safe, and they have multiple members on the bottom side, so they will give that Baron over. Oddie and Srtty, if you look at the bottom right of your screen, will look to take a tier 2 turret in trade.
Yeah, they do get an objective bounty, a pretty big one as well, because they're fairly far behind at the moment.
Team Liquid have a long chase here. I mean, there's no TP on Oddie land, so they have to run the Trundle out, and Team Liquid have all members collapsing. I don't think LYON were fully prepared for this. Oddie land is running away. Srtty looks to be the sacrificial lamb, and he will be just that. Oddie land gets to safety.
APA picks up his first kill.
There we go.
Good job, buddy. Should have given it to Yunara, but, you know, didn't want to have that 0 next to his name.
I mean, because Team Liquid spent all that time going bot side, though, that's actually a big window for LYON to just take everything on the top half. They get that mid tier 2. They're going to take some top jungle camps. All things considered, I know they gave up the Baron, but all things considered, it's not a bad play from LYON here.
Yeah, it's a much better outcome than if they would have tried to fight the Baron.
But what if Team Liquid just does it again? What if they just keep chasing?
What if they just keep pushing?
What if they just never stop engaging onto the Trundle? He flashed over the wall, he's taken down. They're still pushing that bottom wave, mind you.
How confident do they feel? Can they 2v?
I honestly think they could. With Yeon having ult, with CoreJJ having ult, the bailout as well, depth charge is used, double knockup, but those rockets do no damage, man. They don't even get through those shields. LYONz have to go to full retreat mode as Yeon is now legendary. Teleport in from APA, LYON lose their support and don't get anything in trade.
Yeah.
Oh, over the wall.
Flies over the wall. He's got his ultimate running. He's going for him.
Yep, he's going for him. The state has been transcended, but he just doesn't have the damage right now.
Yeah, I was thinking that he wanted to end the game in that moment, but they have all but ended this game. Even when they were down in gold, they had a team fight advantage with the way they were able to group up LYON and just end them. I think they'd like to end on this wave.
Yeah, they're going for it right here, right now. Team Liquid with all members strong with the Baron empowered waves. LYON lose 1 Nexus turret, but they do have LYONz back up, so it is a true 5v5. And Team Liquid have taken a good amount of poke damage from the Corki, from the Galio Winds of War, so they should respect this. Decide to back away. It's only the clone that gets hit by the Dredge line, and now it's Srtty looking for the 1v1 versus Impact on the side right there. The rest of Team Liquid look to collapse. They just posture so the Impact has positioning to get away.
Yeah, they have a massive amount of gold in inventory right now, so it would be good for them to shop. Yeon alone is sitting on 3,500 gold.
Oddie hit a pillar onto Yuuji. Do they keep chasing? I mean, there's not better chances as the public execution goes a little wild. Hostile takeover hits onto 3 members right there. Shutdown for Oddie as Yuuji does fall. Now LYON, they have a member advantage. Can they find more? Yeon flashes to safety. Yeon still free firing in the fight, but he's so low. Can he do it? Bail out. He gets a double. He gets a triple. Yeon cannot die. Are you AD carry.
He had 3,500 gold in inventory.
All right.
Now he's got 4,500 gold in inventory, and he's given 1,100 over to Srtty just for fun.
I mean, I think this game is over. There's still minions pushing in. Impact, full health bar. It's only Srtty to hold the line. APA's running up. 1v1 at the Nexus. How's Impact feeling about this one? The needlework goes wide. Srtty's gonna have to get back on him. You have to take the kill. Impact splitting damage between the Nexus and Srtty, but he's got it. Team Liquid take game 2.
Love to see it. If you cut the video at just the right time, it was the perfect ending for Yeon. What does the lounge think about the Yunara debut in the LTA?
It could have only been Yeon, right? Like we talked about how he was an early adopter of Zeri, was putting out highlight clips on Twitter when Zeri was released. Yunara has some similarities.
I mean, to me, this is just kind of a newer Zeri, right? It's like, yeah, there is some differences, but the way that the champion plays, I think, is incredibly similar. So I